Hey everyone, we're wrapping a bunch of Christmas presents here, and I just wanted to show you some of the things that we do to make it as low waste as possible for what we have. And this could be not just for Christmas presents, but for birthday presents or whatever presents you have to wrap, but we're just doing a bunch in bulk for Christmas, so I thought I'd show you some of the things that we use. When you're thinking about waste when you're gift wrapping, there are some wrapping papers that are recyclable. Some of them actually say it on there, like this product is recyclable, but a lot of wrapping papers are not. So you can't always recycle wrapping papers. If you have something like this that's super shiny or it has glitter on it, that is a no for recycling. This one should be recyclable. And also when you're opening them, if you're opening up a new thing of wrapping paper, the plastic that some of those wrapping papers are wrapped in, you can usually put that in the drop-off plastics recycling, so like at your local grocery store. If you can stretch it 2 different ways, well, that broke, but yeah, you can stretch it 2 different ways, that can usually go in there. Just cut off the labels that it came with though too, because they don't want those labels in there. But this could go in that special drop-off recycling. And that's the same with a lot of things. If you order them online and they come in a plastic bag like this and you don't want to wrap that item in that plastic bag for your present, you can put this in your special drop-off recycling for plastics as well. And I do have some wrapping paper that's both recyclable and non-recyclable because I had a bunch of it. So if you have it, you might as well use it. Kelly's over here doing his share.
That's true.
Because this is more than one person job. And
yeah.
Yes, this wrapping paper is shiny, but it's what we had too. Good job, Kelly.
Thanks. I'm working hard.
So this type of wrapping paper with the glittery and shiny decorations on it, although it's super pretty, that's just going to go in the trash when you're done with it. You can't recycle that kind. Unless you want to save it for next year and fold it up carefully and re-wrap presents with it next year. So I also have a big bin of stuff that I've saved from previous years too. So all the holiday bags and any boxes, like this box is cool. I don't want to just throw away this box, but I'll use that again. And then if people drop off tins for holiday cookies, I save those too, and you can put presents in those as well if you're not gonna send out a bunch of cookies. And I am the kind of person that at Christmas time, I'm running around squirreling up all the tissue paper that people are throwing down. I'll be like, okay, I'll take this and I'll take this, because otherwise this just goes in the garbage. You can't recycle the tissue paper. So I just fold it up and I keep it and I put it in my big storage bin downstairs and reuse it every year, so I don't have to buy any more. And this is where I keep all my extra stuff that I save and reuse for the holidays. So we have some cards in here, and I keep all my bows. These are all the bows from the dress that I wore for that Christmas party, and the ribbons, bubble wrap, and like the long ribbons here. So not everything is reused, some of it's new. But for the most part, this is all reused tissue paper from presents, nice sized boxes, and more tissue paper, all the color stuff, and then some of my wraps. So I just kind of keep all that stuff in there, and then when I need something, I can grab it. And then I do have a whole bin of bags for different seasons and birthday parties and whatnot. So it might not be practical if you don't have the space to store it, but this is the best solution I could come up with for us. So for the most part, I just try and use a lot of the bags that I already have, and then I can just reuse them all again next year. And I think I like doing a mix of bags and wrapping just because it's Christmas and it's fun to watch the kids like unwrap things, but I also don't want to waste too much stuff too. So I do a combo of the wrapping and the bags. So this is easy. I can stuff it in there, shove it in a bag, and all that will be reused again next year. unlike my father-in-law, he only spends maximum of 20 seconds on wrapping any present ever. And wherever he's at that 20 seconds, that's what you get, if it's covered up or not. And if you have like a bigger present where you're like, I don't want to use up all that wrapping paper or tissue paper or whatnot to wrap it, you can use something like a big old tote bag. And in our house, Santa uses the same wrapping paper and the same bags that we have. We provide the wrapping paper for Santa. So it's normal that he would use some of our things to wrap the presents that he gives the kids. So the kids know that Santa really cares about the environment and doesn't want to use extra stuff too. So Santa knows that he can use any of our things to wrap the kids' presents with. And if the top is still sticking out, like if you don't want to tie it together with a ribbon, you could always use some tissue paper or like one of your wraps to cover up the top. And that really should be good enough.
Now, what is that? Tell me what that is. I can't see it.
That's for all my life!
You've been waiting for it all your life?
Whoa!
Wow. If you don't have stickers to put on the presents or you don't want the extra waste from them, a lot of times what I do is I take the little pieces of wrapping paper that are left over and we'll cut little strips out of them and we'll make our tags out of those. So I just kind of fold it over and then stick a piece of tape onto the back and then right on those ones. Good options if you just want to get stuff done, you want to get it wrapped, you want to get it out, put away, you don't really care how it looks. But I do understand that a lot of people love wrapping Christmas presents. Another option that you have for low waste wrapping is to use a Furoshiki wrap, and you basically use cloth material to mindfully wrap a present and to present it, make it look nice too. So it is a thoughtful process. And I just went to Goodwill and got some festive napkins for these smaller ones. And there are some materials that work better than others too. I'm not the one to go to for all the answers for all the different types of materials or the wrapping, but I'm just kind of giving you an overview of what it is. A few years ago, I gave a bunch of people these wraps for Christmas presents and instructions on how to do it, and then I realized that I went out and bought the fabric for that instead of just reusing fabric that someone else was getting rid of. So I kind of regret doing that. I wish I would have taken the time to go find things that were already used, but that's in the past. So this is how you wrap them now. So this is meant to be reused. So if you give it to someone, don't expect to get it back from them. But if you do keep it in your family, then you can use it over and over again, and then you're not using any of the other stuff either. This would come in handy if you don't want to keep a whole big bin of tissue paper or wrapping paper or bows that you're going to use from year to year. If you're like, I just want to use a few different sizes of pieces of cloth, that might be a better space-friendly option. You can kind of see, if you just start playing with it too, look up videos online, you can see where it all kind of falls into place, and you sort of play with the sizes that you have, and depending on the material that you have too, you can do different things with it. So a lot of it is using the corners to make bows and sort of just tying it up in a way that looks nice. And if you really do want to make it look nice, add a little something something on the inside of it too. So before you tie it, which I could have done earlier, but before you tie it, kind of put a little sprig of something in there, or your bow, your wrapping, and then just mindfully kind of turn the corners the way that you want them to look. So I tuck in the extra loose pieces and you kind of pull them out the way you want it to look. That's not great, but it kind of gives you an idea of what it looks like. Hi. Ooh. I am not one of those people that loves wrapping presents. Like, I appreciate a nicely wrapped present. I don't mind it for like a couple, but then I'm done with it. And if I'm really feeling like above and beyond for a present, I'll add a bow or a ribbon too. It just makes it a little bit nicer. It takes away from the fact that I wrapped that present pretty quickly and it doesn't look perfect. But these are all things that I've saved over the years, so they're all getting reused again. So those are just some of the ideas that we have when it's time to wrap presents that are just a little bit less waste than what traditionally you would use for present wrapping. Thanks for watching.